There's something brewing within the walls of Flowery Branch that no one expected to hear so soon. Picture this. You're a fly on the wall in a post-draft meeting room, just after the Atlanta Falcons made one of the most controversial decisions in recent draft history. The team selected Michael Penix Jr. with the 8th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, a pick that sent shockwaves through fans and the NFL media. And just when you thought the controversy ended with the name being called, the real drama begins behind closed doors. We're taking you inside that very room, with insights straight from a one-on-one conversation between Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot and head coach Raheem Morris. This wasn't just any conversation. This was a candid, raw, and at times tense unpacking of a decision that has the potential to reshape the entire franchise. The tone? Strategic. The stakes? Monumental. But before you continue, be sure to hit that like button and join this community of fans. Terry Fontenot starts by acknowledging the magnitude of the decision. He's aware, painfully aware, of the optics. The Falcons had just handed Kirk Cousins a 4-year, $180 million contract with $100 million guaranteed. And yet, they turned around and drafted a quarterback in the top 10, bypassing immediate contributors at other positions. But here's the twist. Fontenot isn't apologizing. Not even close. He explains that while Cousins is the present, Penix is about the future. A future the Falcons don't want to scramble for when the time comes. We're not trying to fill a gap when we're desperate, Fontenot said firmly. We're building something that will outlast the current moment. And Raheem Morris? He's not pushing back. In fact, he leans in. The synergy between these two leaders is undeniable. Morris, in his signature analytical style, breaks down Penix's film in detail, highlighting the quarterback's decision-making, pocket presence, and maturity. He talks about Penix's deep ball, his leadership at Washington, and most of all, his resilience. This wasn't just a talent bet. It was a character bet. A durability bet. You look at a guy who's had the adversity he's had, Morris said, referencing Penix's injury history, and you see someone who knows exactly who he is. The conversation shifts into logistics. Fontenot makes it clear, Kirk Cousins is the starter. Period. He emphasizes transparency with Cousins, with Penix, and with the rest of the locker room. The plan isn't to stir a quarterback controversy, but to establish a long-term succession plan. One that avoids the uncertainty so many teams face when their QB window closes. Morris nods, but he brings up something else. The timing. He talks about the organizational timing, having the infrastructure, the coaching staff, the veteran leadership, all in place to support this kind of move. There's a sense that this wasn't just a spontaneous decision. It was years in the making. The culmination of scouting, evaluation, and alignment across the front office and coaching staff. But here's where things get even more interesting. As the discussion deepens, Fontenot reveals just how tight-lipped the process was. Barely anyone outside their core decision-makers knew Penix was the target. The team kept things under wraps deliberately, anticipating the blowback. And yet, they stood firm. We knew it was coming, Fontenot admitted. The headlines, the talk shows, the fans. But we made a decision based on principle, not public pressure. And Morris agrees. He points to the blueprint, teams like the Chiefs, who invested in a quarterback a year early with Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith. Or the Packers with Jordan Love. The Falcons aren't reinventing the wheel, they're making their version of a proven playbook. Still, the elephant in the room lingers. How will Cousins take it? Fontenot reveals that the team didn't blindside him. Cousins was looped in. Not with a courtesy heads up, but with a real explanation. Transparency, again. Respect, again. And according to Fontenot, Cousins handled it with professionalism. He's here to win now. He knows what's expected. And so, we're left with a franchise that's done something bold. Something polarizing. Something that could either be remembered as genius or folly, depending on how it plays out in the years to come. But what do you think, Falcons fans? Does this long-term vision inspire confidence, or does it feel like a gamble at the worst possible time? Let us know in the comments. But let's not sugarcoat this. The presence of Michael Penix Jr. in the quarterback room changes everything. And we're not just talking about the field. We're talking about culture. We're talking about identity. We're talking about pressure, the kind that either crushes a team or forges it into something legendary. And if you needed a legendary voice to validate this shift, look no further than Michael Vick. Yes, that Michael Vick. The electrifying, air-defining quarterback who once made the Georgia Dome his personal playground. Now head coach at Norfolk State, Vick got an up-close look at this new Falcons squad, and what he saw had him flashing back to his own heyday. He compared Tyler Allgeier and Bijan Robinson to his old backfield duo of Warrick Dunn and T.J. Duckett. He looked at Drake London and Kyle Pitts and saw shades of Peerless Price and Alge Crumpler. And when it came to Penix, Vick didn't hold back. Good reads, moved well in the pocket. Good pocket presence and good feel for the game, Vick observed. With complementary players around him like Bijan, Drake, and Kyle, these guys are going to really do some special things this year. Now, Vick doesn't hand out that kind of praise lightly. And coming from someone who once led the Falcons to the NFC Championship and finished second in MVP voting, those words carry weight. But they also raise the stakes. Because Penix isn't just the future, he might be the now. And what about Cousins? The situation grows even more complex. With Aaron Rodgers headed to Pittsburgh, one of the last viable trade destinations for Cousins vanished. The Falcons, meanwhile, have been blunt. They're content to keep Cousins as a high-paid backup this season. That's right, a backup earning starter money. It's a scenario rarely seen in the NFL, and one that adds fuel to every conversation surrounding this team. But this isn't just about salary. It's about fit and readiness. Zach Robinson, the Falcons' offensive coordinator, spent this offseason in deep study mode. His first year in the role was a blur, new system, new quarterbacks, and a steep learning curve. But now, he's reflecting, refining, and, most importantly, evolving. Because with Penix, the offense opens up in ways Atlanta hasn't seen in years. Vertical passing, explosive plays, game-breaking speed, and the arm to make it all possible. When you see it in person, it's next level, Robinson said of Penix's throwing ability. Like, holy smokes, this is different from stuff we've ever seen. But don't mistake evolution for chaos. This isn't a mad scramble to reinvent the wheel. It's deliberate, calculated, and built on a foundation of self-awareness. Robinson reviewed everything, what worked, what didn't, and where the trends in the league are heading. The result? A playbook that doesn't just accommodate Penix. It empowers him. And that's where the real battle begins. Because as much as the headlines want to focus on the quarterback controversy, the Falcons are focused on something else entirely, dominance. They're not chasing flash. They're building a system that sustains. That adapts. That strikes fear into defenses not just because of who's under center, but because of what's coming next. So the question isn't whether Penix can live up to the hype. It's whether the league is ready for what the Falcons have been quietly crafting behind the scenes. And if you're a fan, really a fan, you can feel it. Something different is happening. There's an energy, a swagger, a plan. But now, we want to hear from you. Are you buying into this vision? Do you believe Michael Penix Jr. is the right future, and maybe even the present, for this team? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Go Falcons!